100K, 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 every day, we don't play, here to stay, we here to stay, concentrate, anticipate, it's okay,
So guys, we have a video on this that can probably explain this a little bit in depth. So let's actually go to that video. I think this will really help educate us more about the Ethereum merge. Okay, so all right. Yeah, let's start with this video.
All right.
Okay, whenever you're ready.
Okay.
Is the merge. The merge was the final step in Ethereum's plan to completely switch from a proof of work to a proof of stake consensus mechanism. But what does this even mean, and how would it affect Ethereum? Imagine you're in New York during the Roaring '20s. The city is bustling, attracting thousands of people from different parts of the world. While it's exciting at first, with more and more people arriving, there's more pollution and the cost of living starts to go up. This isn't much different from the current state of the Ethereum network, which runs on a proof-of-work consensus mechanism. Proof of work, or POW, describes a system where the network is secured by miners who solve complex cryptographic puzzles that require a lot of electricity. The people arriving in the city represent the millions of Ethereum transactions carried out daily, which have caused the network to be congested because of the high volumes. Of course, this has led to users paying higher transaction fees, and this represents the first problem of the current Ethereum network, which is scalability. The second problem of such a city is sustainability. Burning an enormous amount of coal is similar to the energy-intensive activity of the proof-of-work consensus mechanism, which is not sustainable for the environment. But what if this busted old city could be transformed into a bustling metropolis at the snap of a finger? Well, everybody would go about their daily activities without disruption and in a better, more sustainable environment. In theory, this is what would happen when Ethereum switches to a proof-of-stake consensus mechanism. The ETH merge sets a new stage for the Ethereum network to become more sustainable, scalable, and secure. Additionally, Ethereum's state and transaction history will remain exactly the same after the merge, meaning no action is required on the part of the current Ethereum holders. For instance, if you are currently a liquidity provider on Uniswap, you will still be one after the Ethereum upgrade to proof of stake. The only difference is that Uniswap will now operate on a proof of stake consensus instead of proof of work. As you can imagine, switching from proof of work to proof of stake is a colossal effort. What is more is that the developers are trying to do this with the flip of a finger, so any network failure during an attempted merge would create a chaotic domino effect. And obviously, developers don't want any downtime, so their execution has to be flawless. This is why Ethereum's transition to proof of stake was originally divided into two major parts: launching the beacon chain, and second, the merge itself. The beacon chain is a separate parallel proof of stake blockchain that was used to run tests without affecting the Ethereum mainnet or the hundreds of billions of dollars that are secured on it. Use your imagination hats to think of the beacon chain as a hologram of the new city that's built to explore how it would function before people would move into it. This simulation would give the developers more time to test the new blockchain and observe if there were any potential faults in the system before the merge. In the second step, the merge will bring Ethereum's mainnet and beacon chain together so that the current proof-of-work powered consensus layer will be switched out for the proof-of-stake consensus. For a more detailed...
All right. So, what do you guys think? Do you think that video kind of explained it a little bit better?
I think they did a great job explaining it, especially with the when they were talking about the hologram, the chain being a hologram, and actually just doing a test drive through it or a test through it to see exactly what would happen, to work out the kinks, and see what it would look like once it's implemented. So I think they did a great job explaining it. It also explains why. I mean, it is a big jump to go from proof of work to proof of stake. And they said I think it was 95% more efficient or 99% more efficient. That's like going from stagecoach and horses to flying cars. It's such a big jump from one to the other. I mean, it's enormous. It's a great job that Ethereum did with that transition.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I concur. Yeah. I concur.
Yeah, I agree too. And somebody who have worked in the IT space for a while, I was immediately able to transition that example to what actually happens in corporate networks. You have your production network, you have a test network, and you have a development network. You never develop on the production network. You never test stuff out on the production network. You have all that stuff separate. And then when all the kinks are worked out in those other two environments, then they're incorporated into the production network. So that was immediately my mind was able to shift into that space.
I wonder if Ethereum had a test network that we could have actually tested it out beforehand. You know, just how like Pulse Chain has a test network that we can test out.
They mentioned that they had one test network that was running in parallel with the
right. But was that for the developers privately to use or for the public to test out as well?
I would assume, as a matter of fact, I thought he did mention, I can't remember. I believe they were using it for development because he mentioned the developers had certain concerns. But, sometimes when you're watching these videos, you're focusing on one or two aspects, and we kind of have to go back over to see. But I know that they had one that was running in parallel, and it was a test. So I would just kind of assume it was for developers, because when people are doing stuff, you'd have to get a test group together in order to be able to test that in terms of the public. So I would assume that was probably for developers.
Yeah.
But that's a good point though.
Yeah. I was curious about it, but I think on another episode that we'll dive further into the Ethereum proof of the POS.
Yeah.
And then we will also probably even use MetaMask to even just fool around in there a little bit and show the viewers the difference and what it's really about one of these episodes. So we'll definitely find out how to access this new network. But in the meantime, we have one more video, and I think that video can really drive away any questions or any things or any curiosity that we may have about the Ethereum network. So guys, why don't we go ahead and check this new video out and see if it can really help us really clear up any further thoughts on Ethereum merge.
Okay, let's do it.
Despite being one of the most significant blockchain upgrades in the history of cryptocurrency, is still a poorly understood topic. So what is the Ethereum merge? What are its economic implications? And what are the main merge risks and misconceptions? You'll find answers to these questions and more in this video. Before we begin, if you want to learn more about decentralized finance and the technology behind it, make sure you subscribe to my channel, hit the bell icon, and enable all notifications. Let's start with understanding the motivations behind the merge. The main purpose of the merge is to transition Ethereum from its current proof-of-work consensus mechanism to the proof-of-stake model. In short, in the proof-of-work or POW model, the network is secured by miners who have to purchase and run the mining hardware. In this model, the miners consume electricity in exchange for block issuance and a portion of transaction fees. In the proof-of-stake or POS model, the network is secured by validators who have to stake ETH in order to validate the network. In this model, the validators don't consume much electricity. The transition to POS aims at making Ethereum more energy efficient, more secure, and lays the groundwork for enabling more scalability with sharding later on. The move to POS was one of the big milestones in the original Ethereum roadmap and research began before the Ethereum network launched. Instead of transitioning Ethereum to POS in one huge and potentially dangerous change, the Ethereum researchers and developers decided to split it into two steps. The first step, launching the Beacon chain, was successfully executed in December 2020. This allowed for creating a separate parallel POS chain that could be tested in production for a period of time without having any direct impact on the already existing POW network that secures hundreds of billions of dollars of economic activity.
So I'm just going to pause here because I think that answers your question, Michael. Since the Beacon chain was built and in conjunction with the production network, so developers can actually do their testing. So it was primarily for developers.
Okay. I appreciate that.
Okay.
Another important reason for launching the Beacon chain earlier was to give enough time to stakers, so the amount of staked ETH can be sufficiently large to secure the network at the time of the merge. When making this video, the Beacon chain had over 400,000 validators and over 13 million ETH actively staking. The merge is the second step in the transition to POS, which merges the consensus layer of the Beacon chain with the EVM state of the Ethereum POW chain. More on this later in the video. The transition to POS aims at reducing the power consumption to secure Ethereum by around 99.95%. This in turn brings down a lot of arguments about Ethereum, DeFi and NFTs killing the planet. As a byproduct, it also makes Ethereum ESG compliant, which can be good for more regulatory-driven institutions that may want to start exploring the Ethereum ecosystem. This can also make Ethereum more friendly to gamers and NFT artists concerned about the environmental impact of crypto.
Right, so these are some very interesting animations, really kind of just clear up how we think about the Ethereum merge. And I thought these animations were very, very good. Shout out to the people that made these animations, by the way. And so I think that the Ethereum merge, love it or hate it, I think it's going to bring about more adoption into the crypto space. I think it's going to help with the proof of stake being more energy efficient and faster, and all of the pros about it. I do have a few reserves because with the proof of work system, irregardless of how some people say, like, if it affected the environment and stuff, okay, I get that, but that was actually the aspect of the system I kind of liked, contrarily, because it helped the miners kind of give a certain type of security to the system. They give a certain type of backing whereby with the proof of stake, the validators, so I'm not going to go too deep into it because it was something that I read in the article, to be honest, but the miners give some security. They help actually balance things out, but with the proof of stake, it's kind of easier for like governments to take over or some type of other malicious activity. So don't quote me again on that. Once again, I read this in the article and it kind of just changed my thought patterns about this, and I felt the need to share that. But if I do find that article, I will link it in the description of the comments of the video, so that you guys in the video and viewers of the video can check that out. But I thought that was pretty interesting. But anyways, we will definitely delve further into this Ethereum and actually explore the chain on MetaMask and Uniswap and places like that.
All right, sounds good. And I echo your concerns, honestly, because, and that was the first thing that came to my mind too, was the the proof of work is more of it's just a hard stamp. You know, it gives legitimacy and security, but at the same time, man, I love the planet. So and I would, it's hard on the planet. It's hard to deny that. So I'm assuming at some point, like everything else, we're going from version 1 to version 2, and maybe version 3 will be able to balance out that security and you know, what's the term, that the eco concerns.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know because they've been touting the efficiency so much, moving from proof of work to proof of stakes, 99.95% more efficient. They've been touting that so much, and I know they mentioned in one of the videos, or both of the videos, that they talked about that it's also more secure, but they don't really say how. How is the security different from proof of work to proof of stake? And how is it secured, period, in proof of stake? They don't really go into that. They tout more of the efficiency, but they don't really touch on the security portion of it. So I think that's a good idea, Mike, to put some information in there so people could actually see how it's actually secure for proof of stake.
Yeah.
Right. Because once again, everything is just based on. I don't have anything against proof of stake. Actually, I'm more for proof of stake, but I need to share this article because it kind of was interesting how the dynamic of proof of work, because of the physical interaction with the blockchain to solve the calculations, it kind of helps with some certain security factors. But at the end of the day, I don't get me wrong, guys and viewers, I am down with proof of stake. I like proof of stake and everything like that. But once again, we just want to see everything from different angles.
Yeah.
So
Visibility.
Yes. So I think that's all the time we have for today.
All right.
Awesome. That's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we really appreciate you. Please do not forget to subscribe, drop a like, hit the notification button if you haven't already done so, and kindly leave some questions in the comments below so we can try our best to answer them for you. Once again, thank you so much, and we appreciate you, and we'll be on same time next week to give you that relevant crypto information you need the most. Peace.
Have a good one.
Keep it crypto.
Tomorrow can be a better day if you're looking to get some figures for better pay. Invest in yourself, man, that is the only way. Get your clout up, 100K followers. How you do that, man? By not being a follower. How you get there, man? Hustling and bustling. Then you spice it up, put some brain muscle in.